And no one's like, Beru, she's coming. She opens the door and Beru straight up decks her in the face. Beru, the MVP of this episode. Here we are, guys. 99 nerds back for episode 11. And oh boy, do we have some stuff to talk about. Obi Wan Kenobi's finale drops this morning. We were all up early watching it, texting each other, tweeting, faxing, all of the things. And here's the deal, guys. I have whey protein in my stomach, and I have a severe dairy allergy. I also have a Chipotle burrito bowl in my belly. So I am ready to blow a gasket, both verbally and physically. I'm ready to get into this. How about you guys?
Let's do it. General thoughts. How did we feel about the finale?
I liked it a lot. I did not love it, but I liked it a lot.
That's where I'm at. That is exactly where I'm at.
What about you, Shauner?
I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And I'm not going to say it like fixes or undoes everything that I didn't like or I felt like kind of was done wrong, but it was there was some stuff in it that was like really, really cool. Unexpected coolness. Yeah. That's it.
I agree. What would you rate it, David? David was watching the rest of it 10 seconds ago. And he said, I don't even know what I'm going to rate this. So I asked him first.
When I first watched it, I got done and thought, I don't like
sand.
That. But I do like that. I'm conflicted. Here's what I'm going to say. I liked the Obi Wan story. But the Reva part, holy mother of God. I'm going to say 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
That's generous, too.
He's getting generous. Sean, what did you rate it?
Overall, or the episode?
The episode.
Episode, I'd give it 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.5 out of 5 kind of a thing.
I think I gave 4 a 7.9. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
And I gave 5 an 8.9. So with that being said, I'm going to give it an 8.3. Okay. Much like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back is considered one of the best. I think episode 5 of Obi-Wan was the best.
Yep.
But
I want to stick by what I said, that I would have loved episode 5 to be the knockout punch,
right,
rather than this episode. I think they did a better job. I think it would have concluded the story a little better.
Sure.
With Obi-Wan teaching him a lesson.
Yeah.
And getting away.
Well, do we want to like dive into the review, or do we want to?
I mean, these are just my general thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like we got to start talking about it because first off, the first shot right away, right off the bat, you know, they say that the first shot that you see is usually the most important. You know, it sets up the premise, it establishes the tone. Mm-hmm. You know, like when you watch the first shot of A New Hope, you know, that desert planet, and then here comes this cruiser coming overhead, and then behind that is this giant pyramid of a ship, and you're like, yo, this is going to be a movie, right? Mm-hmm. So first shot of this episode of the Obi Wan Kenobi show, a llama's butt. Austin, thoughts?
You know,
just a big furry butt.
What are you going to do?
I hope you like pain.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that. What was that?
I was paying attention. It was the first thing I saw. It was right there on the screen. Just to come down on the city, and then there's just a llama that walks in front of the frame and just close up,
double cheeked up,
close up shot of its butt
on a twin sun afternoon.
Dang, yeah.
So that was a good way to start off.
That's the tone, some kind of tone. I thought the opening shot was Vader.
No, I thought opening was Reva.
No, it was her at the trying to get water at the water fountain.
That's right.
Water trader.
See, that's what happens when you watch it at 4 a.m. You already forget a lot about it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that sets the tone. Reva is on Tatooine. Boom. We
right.
saw it coming.
Let's pause. Reva sucks. How do you walk away from Vader stabbing you? I don't like that she's even alive.
There's a rumor, There's a rumor that she survived because she harnesses the power of Morbius.
Oh my gosh. I actually heard a theory
Okay.
that I don't think in episode 5 she gets stabbed by Anakin. I think that is just her biggest fear.
No.
I don't think that's real. I don't think she actually got stabbed. I think that's just her biggest fear in that moment.
You're wrong.
Is she's terrified that Anakin will stab her.
You're wrong.
I feel like
Are you
was her
saying
trauma.
young Reva or adult Reva?
No, young Reva.
Oh.
okay. Why do you think
Okay.
she was holding her belly like her guts were falling out on that ground though?
I think it was just the most traumatic thing that ever happened to her was all her friends died.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think
so it's like in the Matrix.
I kind of
you die,
agree
in,
with
you die in
how-
your mind, you die in real life.
because that was kind of a gray. I mean, everybody was kind of like, did she get stabbed or did she not? The way they shot that scene, it's like, no, he for sure stabbed her. Did he though?
Right.
Adult Reva though, she got murked.
Yeah, she got-
right through the gut.
They could have just had her like lose an arm or something.
That would have been
That's very Star Wars.
on brand
Way of
for them to
defeating.
do that.
Yeah. I think if she did get stabbed when she was a youngling, there are theories that Grogu saved her.
No.
He healed her.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And that's how Grogu got out, was with Reva.
I hope not.
Me too.
Don't associate with her.
Come on, that's racist.
Well, so she,
Ninety Nerds has been
I thought it was
canceled.
We're
interesting.
gonna edit all this.
She was on Tatooine and she still had, like, she had her armor on. She was like literally still an Inquisitor
Right.
with just
Yeah.
a robe on and then like, just like a towel wrapped around her gut. And so for a second I was like, oh, costume department, come on, give her something more than that.
Right.
And then afterwards I'm like, hey, maybe just like it's holding her insides in at this point, You never know.
I'm sure we're gonna find out in season 2, Sean.
Can we not? Can we just find out now?
Disney will not allow
But
that to not
just
happen.
classic, just the theme of the show, Reva showing up, introing, just starting hot with a Reva quote.
I have something to say.
I have something to say. this big dude walks up.
Same dude from the Fisher Cut jobber that Obi-Wan worked at.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
The space fish. Yeah, he's the one who the episode 1 where the guy doesn't get paid.
Oh, yeah, the jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Same
poor
jerk.
actor. That's all he cares about is being a jerk.
Yep. That's his sole purpose.
He walks up to the merchant and he's like, "Whoa, you got something to say?" And Reva comes in.
I have something to say.
I have something to say.
Yeah.
I hope you're not paying.
She's just a
So
bold
cheesy.
character.
It's so cringy. When the finale opened up with that, I thought, uh-oh. This isn't going to go well.
not setting the tone that David wants.
But then it immediately cuts to Vader tracking down the ship of the Path Network. Mm-hmm. And he's shooting. He says, more firepower, parallel of Kylo. More.
Yeah, I thought that scene was really like almost too similar to The Last Jedi, where it's like
Yeah.
a ship trying to outrun the bad guys. They can't jump into light speed, and so
Right.
they're just. I'm like,
It's
guys,
almost cliche at
we don't
this
want
point.
We don't want to do this again, do we?
I thought that the angle of Vader was very like movie-esque. It didn't look like a TV show. It looked like the movies
Yeah.
of him in the window looking out.
Right.
Like the way they shot it was just like the movies. I thought that was really cool, actually.
I would agree with that. I thought that was done well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we find out they're not going to be able to go to hyperspace. They are getting shot from behind. Roken is trying to repair the ship, but it's going to take him way too long. So Obi-Wan hatches a plan.
Roken's ship is broken.
Oh, shoot.
Broken.
Yeah.
Be Roke. So it's almost like they knew. Where am I going with this?
Well, what I thought was like they said they were going to take them to Tessin.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. I don't know if like Tessin is a something
I don't know anything about
somewhere else.
Tessin.
Okay.
We'll have to do some Googling on
Yeah.
the Googlers.
All right. Well, what's the only thing that was a little bit weird about the way this episode started was like So it starts off with Reva on Tatooine, which on its own is not a bad way to start it. The problem is chronologically, this all gets really weird because you jump from her on Tatooine, which would theoretically, I don't know, take at least some time for her to
Get there.
get off the planet and then get to where.
Especially because she was on the ground crawling.
Yeah, and so then let's jump to the Star Destroyer chasing these guys, which fine, way to open it. These scenes on their own aren't a problem.
Right.
But chronologically, it's hard to accept, like, wait a minute, she's on Tatooine already, but they're still escaping the Empire.
Yeah.
I almost wish like they were reversed.
Yeah.
Like just somehow give a little bit more reliability and like logic to that.
And
time.
within seconds, she is talking to somebody who knows Uncle Owen personally.
Yeah, exactly.
She found
Where's
the
the
one
farmer?
guy.
It's
Tatooine's
a
big planet.
it's a small town.
It's a
man.
small town, big planet, though.
Yeah, there's that one set that they built. That's all you got to worry about.
And those 27 extras.
Yeah.
One of which is missing a hand. # old woman. # Reva.
I have something to say.
She sure did.
Yeah.
So
What happens next?
So then Obi-Wan realizes the only way that I'm going to be able to save these people is if I give myself up. I'm going to get in the escape ship and
Well,
ditch.
first he has some moments with Leia, and I thought it was weird. He was basically telling Leia, like,
Yeah.
you know, I got to do what I got to do, whatever. But Leia's telling him, like, oh, Lola is, like, giving people, like, comfort or something. Like, Lola is comforting these people because they're scared. And Obi-Wan says this weird
Same.
line, like, maybe I need to hang out with Lola or something like that.
he's
like-
scared.
Obi-Wan, why did you say that?
Well, no.
Brave.
What's interesting is that like this actually whole beginning of the episode was a little bit weird because they kept leading characters to be on the cusp of having some kind of important conversation, and then just like cut away.
Right.
So it's like Reva saying, "I need to find Owen" or whatever. Cut away, and then here's Obi-Wan going like, "I have to do something." Cut away, back to Reva, and she's in the. It cuts away to the shop with like Owen and Luke talking in like that parts shop.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, like this is a cool scene. We're going to see Luke and Owen together, like uncle and nephew that we never really got to see before. Okay. Oh, and they're in a shop. This could be a cool scene to just cut to Leia, you know? It's her going, no, you can't leave. You can't leave. You know, like, so I was like, you know, we can have these conversations happen on screen, you know? I feel like the beginning of the episode like had to just keep moving, had to get to a conclusion quick. Like we got to get Obi-Wan off this ship pronto.
I feel like
which is Spanish for quickly.
I feel like they should have made this an hour and a half episode. How long was it? An hour?
It was like 54 minutes.
It should have been an hour and a half because the pace was pretty
choppy. That's what
Yeah,
I
it
wrote
was
down in my notes.
pretty choppy.
It felt like a choppy episode.
And there were certain aspects later in the episode that I wish they would have taken more time with.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it felt like the episode, the things that mattered was 15 minutes long.
Right.
And then it was just boring.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I actually like that scene with Owen and Luke in the shop because they have like that round table of parts in the middle, just like Watto's shop.
I'll say the only thing
Young
about that though
Anakin.
is you can't like that scene because there wasn't really a scene there.
No, it paralleled
Oh yeah.
Anakin
Sure.
as,
Just
like as a slave boy.
yeah, reminiscent.
Yeah, I like that.
And then there was the shop owner who was all like,
Yeah, and then some random guy walks in.
"Hey, you got a tough kid on
tell
your
you
hands."
something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it
yeah.
just cuts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's
you never reach the conclusion of what they're trying to say to each other.
It's all implied.
Yeah, can't be bothered with
Or
dialogue.
that's where they went in and changed things
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
because they had to change this episode up.
You know, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think? I mean, we can maybe do this at the end once we recap the whole episode, but keep that in the back of your minds. Like, what is it that they cut out to make sure that there's a season 2?
Yeah.
So
The plastic surgery of the episode.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get to that. So the other Force conversation that is clearly Disney just setting stuff up on a tee is Obi-Wan's conversation with Roken. And he's like, you know, people listen to you. You're a leader. You need to keep leading.
We don't have, or you can't find leaders nowadays or something
Yeah.
like that. Something
It's
weird
like,
like that.
Oh my gosh.
keep going.
It's true.
And Roken's like, just getting started.
Big true.
Yeah, just getting started.
Hashtag Andor series.
Yep.
Roken is going to be all over that.
Let's find out where you're from.
Does the Andor series fit after this?
I think so.
Because it's like, what is it, 5 or 6 years? And this is 10 years before A New Hope.
Right.
Battle of Yavin kind of crap.
I think it's 5 years before.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, actually, here, I wrote this down. So this is the part where Obi-Wan basically starts trying to explain his plan. Like, okay, I'm going to give myself up. It's the only way. This is the best way for me to get them off your tail. So he says to Roken, he literally says, Roken, you know this plan makes sense. And I'm like, dude, the script barely makes sense. Got him.
Freaking got him.
Yeah. I'll do it. Yeah, they got that scene of him sitting there, calling out Master. I have to face him. But he's sitting there, and for like 10 seconds.
Calling out Qui-Gon. Right.
Yeah.
No. Before that. He's sitting there just holding his lightsaber. And it's just a shot of his lightsaber. And I thought, dang, like that's a sick lightsaber.
Sure is.
Wait a minute. Disney, product placement, coming to stores near you.
Was it a different?
Guarantee you.
Was it a different lightsaber?
No.
But they didn't have, when we went to Disney,
Oh,
they
that's
didn't
right.
have his lightsaber.
Those
That's
jerks.
the next-
That's how they get you.
I promise you, Disney, put that there.
That's how they
because
get
they're
you.
showing their product. Boom, you can buy that lightsaber.
No
now.
doubt. But he was
And I
meditating.
will buy it.
Dude, I've actually
They got
been,
me.
as a joke, I've been asking for that Star Wars Obi-Wan hilt lightsaber. Anytime there's a Father's Day, birthday, Christmas, my joke, like, well, what do you want? My joke answer is always Obi Wan Kenobi FX lightsaber. But it's actually not a joke. And one of these days, hopefully somebody will get it for me. But I want the legit one. Like,
Or
if,
Austin.
if you didn't spend $650, you didn't get the right one.
No, they're only like 250.
No, those aren't the right ones.
The Mace Windu one was like a little over 200.
650 min.
Actually, that was the thing. Remember, I was in the shop and I said they don't have the Mace Windu one.
Yeah.
And then we just like walked down the street to the random one that's at the front of the park and they had it for the same price.
Yeah.
So
That was weird.
The one shop that like you have to get a 3-hour reservation to get in.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have all the stuff that they sell on the campus.
Right.
Lame-o.
Lame-o.
But you got the Dookie, right?
Yeah, dude, Dooku and the Chrome Dooku curved hilt.
Did they have his
Yeah,
pajamas
the Mace
too?
Windu. His pajamas.
Dookie jams.
No. And then we Dave thought his lightsabers were broken, so we fixed them for him.
Yeah, that was. Anyway,
Embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. All right, well, let's move on.
so we get back to Obi-Wan.
They decide that they have to send Leia away, and he makes Haja promise that he'll get her back to Alderaan.
That was
Yeah.
forced, too. I didn't care for that.
I didn't like that dialogue either.
I thought that it was funny because the idea of Leia resisting, like, no, you can't leave, you have to stay with me. I'm like, yo, the entire plot of this show has consistently been, you got to get this girl home.
Right.
And so now here's like the golden opportunity. Like, I don't like, Leia, this is not a time to be a brat anymore. Like, come on. Like, this is real. People are dying.
Like, go home.
People have died. You got to go home.
People have to wait. R.I.P. Wade.
Dude, Wade,
And Ned B.
Ned B,
Freaking Ned.
that
Paula?
You know
that
what?
guy who got cut up by the gate,
I don't think we're done with Ned B. Oh yeah.
slaughtered
done
an
with Ned
entire
B.
platoon of
We
soldiers
are.
for you.
No,
I bet he shows up in Bad Batch season 2 as someone who is
Okay.
then put into that loader droid.
Okay, I see what you're saying. No, I actually I found the guy who I'll tag this in the video. The guy who played Ned B, who was in the suit. He's like 6'8".
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a tall dude.
Dang.
He's very 6'8".
Do you think
What
it's
has-
Chewie?
It's not.
Has he been in anything else?
No, I was scrolling through his IG. I couldn't find anything I noticed him from.
He can't do anything other than be tall.
Yeah, it's his specialty. He must have played basketball or something.
Well, anyway, back to Kenobi. It cuts to Owen getting home because Owen knows Reva's coming now.
Yeah.
Right.
So Owen gets home and he's like, Beru, like, she's coming. And Beru just, I'll take her right now. Just like whips out a gun, like, let's go. All we need is just us two. This is her only dialogue or lines I've ever heard her speak.
It's
he's-
great because
Uncle Owen's so scared.
she
like,
goes from 0 to 100 like so quick.
Like, down with the cause.
Yeah.
Like,
like 100%
like the hot rod
ride
scene.
or die. It was the hot rod
It
scene. It's
literally-
exactly what I
where
thought.
He's like, he whips out the stick and he's like, I'll take you right now.
Yeah.
Way. Let's do it right now.
It's exactly what it was.
That was Beru's scene.
Yeah. Yeah, she was intense. She wasn't playing. She was
She like whipped out a gun. She's like, let's go right now.
pulled it out of the wall.
Yeah.
Shout out to that actress Bonnie.
Who straight
Because
up
she used
looks
to-
like Amy Poehler. There's a
Yeah, a
scene,
little bit.
Amy Poehler in Arrested Development, Job's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get a picture of that
You mean
right
Gob?
here. And then Beru right here. And I'm telling you, they look the exact same.
We'll do it.
Parallel.
I love that there's like a mini redemption arc because that actress used to be in a cult after Revenge of the Sith, and then she like got out.
Oh my gosh.
Good for her.
And if she hadn't done that, man, we could have.
Well, maybe that's where she got these skills.
We wouldn't even have the. Oh yeah, that's exactly it.
Ride or die.
Ride or die. Get ready. Here we go. Never again.
Uncle Owen's like, what are you doing? She's pulling guns out of the wall. We knew this day would come, Owen. Jeez. She was ready.
So I have two thoughts about that. One was I was a little bit like, hey, I don't want to retcon these characters. Like, they don't need to go from like, hey, there's aunt and uncle to like suddenly, yo, they're warriors, they're soldiers ready to die to protect this kid. I didn't get the impression of that
Right.
in the movie. But in hindsight, I was like, yeah, but also now you could be like, hey, those two did not go down without a fight in A New
yeah.
Hope. It was like, I saw somebody online said something like, maybe the Empire literally charred them into corpses because that was the only way to stop them.
They are a force in themselves. Yeah, and then Uncle Owen has that line where he's telling Luke, he's like, listen, raiders are pillaging villages. Like, he just tells Luke that there's
Tuskens.
Tusken raiders on the scene. And the only line Luke has is, I'm not afraid, which is exactly what he tells Yoda on Dagobah when he goes to face Vader.
We know how that turned
And I
out.
was waiting for Uncle Owen to say, you will be.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't.
You didn't say it.
No. So then we cut back to Obi Kenobi.
Yeah.
He's peacing out.
No, before that, he gives Leia Tala's holster.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
She would have wanted you to have it.
Yeah, that was like, it's
Really?
like, yeah.
And Leia's like, it's empty. He's like, well, I wasn't going to give you a blaster. You're freaking 10 years old.
Well, he was like,
Classic Leia.
yeah, I have this blaster. It's still covered in blood. Roken found it in the middle of a hallway that he definitely did not go back to after she died there.
Right.
But yeah, by the way, here you go. Something about like Disney kind of trying to make meaning out of items that don't really have any meaning.
Sure.
So it's the holster now, and then it was the dice.
Yeah.
With Han.
The Han dice.
the Han
and the
dice was a
sequels.
fail, in my
That was
opinion.
dumb.
I wonder if
It's like they're trying to do the Lord of the Rings thing.
And they
where
weren't
every
even real.
Every sword and item is like precious and
has
important.
lore.
It wasn't even like the actual dice either. It was like the Force.
You know what they should have done? They should have had a little bit of Ned B's oil dripping on the holster. That would have been the final touch.
That would have been really cool.
Oh my gosh.
Would have cried. I
She
would
could
have
have
wept.
she could have added a couple more notches in there.
Shoot.
Or just like how in the first episode you see Luke with the pod racer helmet on.
Right.
Leia's got Ned B's helmet on.
Jeez.
Too soon.
Gruesome.
I am a princess
So
of
Obi-Wan
Alderaan.
dips. He takes off in this, escape ship, secondary pod thing. It wasn't an escape pod, but it was like a secondary ship within the ship.
Before he goes, he calls out to Qui-Gon. He says, I have to end this, Master.
Right.
Whether he dies or I do,
Right.
it ends today.
Yeah. Calling a shot.
Yeah.
Except we know that they
And
both
then
survive.
And then that never played into anything.
Well,
Yeah,
the
that
best,
was a
the
weird
best thing
line.
was I coincidentally watched The Patriot yesterday,
Oh.
and that's what General Cornwallis says right before that climactic battle. He's like, "It ends today."
Freaking dang.
So I was like, "Dang, Obi-Wan, are you about to do what must be done?"
he's about to kill the
Nope.
redcoats.
Nope. Yep, redcoats.
So, do you guys know what planet that was he goes
No,
to?
they never said.
Yeah,
So
and
in
it
this-
was like how lucky and convenient that there's a planet just chilling there.
Right.
Right.
In-
10 seconds away.
They the Star Wars official account, I want to say,
Yes.
posted a official poster for the new episode coming out in a couple days.
Right.
And it was Obi-Wan and Vader fighting on Mustafar.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
teased that they were
Yeah.
going to fight on Mustafar again.
Yeah.
I think that was like something that had to get changed.
Maybe
sorry.
that was
I'm
a
sorry.
change.
I'm pretty sure I heard that too.
Because here's the thing, and it piggybacks off of that. When it comes to, Disney's going to market this. That's their job.
Right.
But sometimes Disney, just stop.
Right.
Because, A, they put out promo videos for the finale, and Duel of the Fates is playing in the background. So a lot of people think like, bro, we're going to get an Obi-Wan versus Vader Duel of the Fates in the background. No, we didn't get that.
Right.
Then they put out the promo with them on Mustafar. Oh my gosh, they're going to fight on Mustafar.
Right.
No, they didn't. And then everything that they were saying,
Yeah, it's just a tease.
when they even launched this show, was Revenge of the Century. Revenge of the Century. They're tweeting it. Revenge of the Century. They're talking about
The
it.
saber
at
duel of the-
Celebration. Obi-Wan versus Vader. The rematch of the century.
Rematch of the century, yeah.
And
Whoa. Hold your horses there, buddy. I'm pretty sure that belongs to...
so anyway, rematch of the century. I would venture to say it was only the rematch of the year, which is 100 times less important than the rematch of the century. So don't hype it up too much and then let us all down.
Right.
Do you understand how psycho these fans are? Kathleen Kennedy, you will have people at your door ready to fight you.
Oh, my gosh.
Fight Club style. I pray for your health because,
I don't.
oh my gosh.
Okay, well,
So anyway, that was my tangent.
the thing that happened next was... So, you know what's funny is that they're on the ship, and I love how the Grand Inquisitor says the quiet part out loud,
Right.
where he's like, you know, Vader, are you sure we want to do this where you, like, shift everything away
Right.
real quick to just, like, take this one guy down?
Right.
Sure you want to do that? Can't we, like, send a fighter or, like, you know, do
Yeah,
something?
where were the TIE fighters?
It's like, no, everything goes after him.
Or
All
maybe
right.
you get in your ship, Vader. Hey, Grand Admiral, pursue the rebels, and I'll go after Ober. He didn't say that.
And then they got to the planet, and he's like, I will face him alone. Like, yeah, sure,
So
dude.
you dragged
Sure,
all
whatever.
of us here just so you could go down there alone?
For
Bro,
your,
I can come with you. We can do this.
while you're doing your weekend errands. Like, I'm trying to do my job over
You
here.
guys stay here and watch.
Yeah, like, what are they supposed
Yeah.
to do? Like, okay, can we leave and maybe come pick you up later?
Right.
There's a lot of people on that ship that I'm supposed to take care of.
Right.
All right, well, so Vader's messing up everybody doing the job.
we need a season 2.
Well, there you go.
They must escape. So yeah, they get on the planet ASAP Rocky. I mean, they're down there, and it's just like, boom, Vader walks out of his ship, Kenobi is there, and they're gonna fight.
Well,
They're out in the open.
My question, why the heck does Obi-Wan have Lola?
Yeah,
What is that?
it was funny
Also,
because...
it's also he can take Lola back.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But,
of course.
okay, so I watched it again because I was unsure. He, like, pulls it out of his back pocket.
I think it's because
Did Leia sneak that in so
think
that
that's
he
what
would
happened.
have to return
Oh, my
it?
gosh, just like...
yeah.
Reva.
I mean, I don't.
That's what I made
Maybe
sense
it's
of,
like an
but-
extra motivator. Like I have to get this back to Leia. I have to survive.
Right.
Because okay, so they start their fight, and what did you guys think?
Well, the dialogue before the fight
Right.
is everything.
Right.
I was a little...
Everything.
I was a little surprised they didn't have more to say to each other before they fought.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Again,
It was simple, and it was a callback to Revenge of the Sith, so at least they had that going for it.
it was again that is where if it was an hour and a half, I feel like some of these issues
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be
yeah.
fixed. I don't know why they should cut it short. Like just give us all the content.
So what does Vader say?
Vader says,
Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?
"Did you come here to destroy me, Obi-Wan?"
And he says,
I will do what I must.
I will do what I must.
Freaking yes.
Freaking callback
I will do what I must.
to episode 3.
And then
Revenge of the Sith.
Vader says,
Then you will die.
then you will die.
Right.
Then you will die.
Which is too bad because the right line would have been, you will die.
Oh.
Get rid of the then.
Because then, yeah, it would rhyme with the you will try.
These are the things. These are the little details.
You know what? I feel like we should be in the writing room because there's other things I'm going to say later that I'm really excited about, and it would have made everything better. And
But
I
it-
can't wait to say them.
Even the first line was the same. The have you come here to destroy me?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of reflective of you brought him here to kill me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
like the
gosh.
same-
What if he said the same thing, but it was about Lola?
Oh my god. it was a little reflective though of what he says to Ahsoka and their meetup,
Then you will die.
which if you haven't seen Rebels,
That's top 5 Star Wars moment.
top 5 Star Wars moment and top 2 Rebels moment.
When? What?
when Ahsoka and Vader
Ahsoka
fight.
faces off with Vader.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, Obi-Wan
talk about
does
that.
the thing.
He does the thing.
He does the thing.
What was it?
His lightsaber's on. He does the
Yes.
lightsaber twirl.
Slay.
Boom.
He does the thing.
It was sick.
He did the thing. We were all waiting for the thing, and he did it. I was happy.
Which I said, in the things I wanted to see in this show, I wanted to see the lightsaber twirl.
he gave us the OG
Freaking
Obi.
gave it to me.
OG Obi right there.
You know what else he gave me?
What did he give you?
Obi-Wan on 11D going piss mode.
He went God mode in this.
It was amazing. That's exactly what I said I wanted to see.
Yeah, it kind of was. It went a little Dragon Ball Z there for a minute. Little Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well,
even
before
care.
we get to that point, so him and Vader, I really liked the choreography of the Vader Obi-Wan duel.
Yeah.
The pace was good, the striking was good, and it kind of leads to Obi-Wan uses the Force on this rock to try to fall on Vader. And Vader stops and he says,
Your strength has returned.
your strength has returned, which is basically saying, like, in episode 3 when they faced, Obi-Wan was just a shell of himself.
Right.
He was completely disconnected from the Force, and he's acknowledging, like, Obi-Wan, your strength is back. This is more like yourself. But then he says, but the weakness remains. And as Obi-Wan is struggling to crumple this rock over Vader, Vader throws the rock like 1,000 feet away.
Yeah.
And it just is this, like, when it comes to this duel, and in retrospect, looking at it, Obi-Wan has already defeated Anakin. It's over, Anakin! At Anakin's peak.
Literally at the highest point he could jump.
Like prime Anakin, in terms of his lightsaber skill, when Obi-Wan defeated him on Mustafar, that was the best Anakin lightsaber duelist there ever was. And Obi-Wan defeated him. So in this sense...
Why? Why did he defeat him?
I mean, I think
Because of Anakin's arrogance.
his arrogance and his desire to prove himself.
Yeah.
Because that girl showed up and threw him off. Padme.
Oh, yeah.
That's what girls do sometimes. They throw
Trying
you
to
off.
think if there was another girl.
That's why he should have brought back Lola. That would have really set him off. That would have really screwed the whole situation up.
Dang.
So I'll say this about this fight that was a little bit weird.
Bring it.
We've talked about this before. I'm kind of getting disappointed with the lack of confidence in, like, if you got the choreography for a sword fight, just show it.
Right.
Instead of like cut.
Yeah.
Cut,
You know what, though?
cut,
That's
cut,
kind of what
cut.
that's kind of what they
And
did.
that's like all shaky cam.
That's kind of what they did in, like, watching Revenge of the Sith back. The
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Anakin duel is very choppy.
It's true, and I kind of am frustrated about that as well, because you can watch behind the scenes where they had this. The whole thing was choreographed,
Right.
a very elaborate fight,
Right.
and so it's kind of a bummer when you just feel like the quality of what they're doing gets kind of handicapped by
sure,
the editing.
And really for Hayden and Ewan, who it's kind of a slap in the face of them, because they did this 9-minute stretch where everything's choreographed.
Yeah.
And then it didn't matter. Like, they could have just done it 1 minute at a time.
Sure,
But so
just like this podcast.
ain't that the truth? So, but like what I was gonna say is, Vader is not a good duelist at this point because he's so physically injured. His suit is not capable of what it could be, because we know from the comics that the Emperor has severely hampered his suit, and he's not given him, like, the most cutting edge suit to make him ultra powerful, because he wants to keep Vader at his side and he doesn't want Vader to rise up and become more powerful. So Vader is not the best duelist, but what Vader does grow in is his power in the Force. And it's like him channeling that anger, and that's like Obi-Wan just barely being able to break this rock over him, and then him just tossing it 1,000 feet. Vader is this uber Force user, but really when it comes to hand-to-hand combat with a lightsaber, Obi-Wan has the edge, and that's kind of what we see in here, in this fight. So then...
I loved it. There's actually a part I noticed after throwing the rocks and stuff and hitting each other, whatever. There's a part where they are separated a little bit, and Vader sets his stance like Qui-Gon.
I saw that.
And then how does Obi-Wan respond? He sets his stance like Kylo. He points his lightsaber at him.
Right.
I just thought it was cool.
I
literally means nothing. But
I noticed
that's
that.
Qui-Gon.
Well, part of it, we're watching this, and I'm waiting for Qui-Gon to show up at some point.
Yeah.
And we kind of theorize, like, does Qui-Gon show up to Vader during a battle? Like, is that how Obi-Wan defeats Vader? Because Qui-Gon shows up and changes everything. So when he did that, I said, oh my gosh, that was Qui-Gon's stance. Is Qui-Gon going to show up?
Right.
He didn't, but I noticed that too, and I liked it. But as soon as he says, like, your strength has returned, but the weakness remains, and that's why you will lose. And then he force pushes the ground.
Yeah, he just plows the ground with the Force.
He opens up this cavity in the earth, and Obi-Wan falls down. And Obi-Wan in this moment has the low ground. And I didn't like it.
Yeah, Vader standing over him. True. I was waiting for it. It's over.
No,
I have the high ground.
here's what they should have done, and it would have taken, there's a couple things they could have done in this sequence, because the whole motif of, like, Vader wants Obi-Wan to suffer, and in episode 3 he drags him through the fire because he wants him to experience exactly what he experienced, and he wants him to suffer the exact way he did. Here's what Vader should have said. He should have said, go ahead, try it.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Don't try it.
Go ahead, try it, Obi-Wan.
But Obi-Wan is the high ground.
True.
How sweet would that have been if, like, he just,
Actually-
like, stands on a rock and just uses the Force to bring the rock way up?
Well, here's what I wish he would have done. I wish Vader would have said, go ahead, try it. Obi-Wan jumps, but he backflips. Instead of front flips over Vader, he backflips away from Vader. And
That would have been
then
sweet.
what it would have done was it would have riled up Vader even more. And what they could have done in this sequence is gotten, like, Vader noticeably more and more upset, to the point where then towards the end, he's so upset that he can't even control himself. And he's so lost in his rage and he's so furious that he then is like, makes grave errors. And that's where Obi-Wan capitalizes, because he's the master of defense, Form 3, which we learned last episode.
And
So I wish they would have done
I'm
that.
Form 2, right?
You are Dookie.
yeah.
Dookie. James.
Yeah, not Dookie. I don't want to be. No, I finally remembered what the best rematch ever was.
What?
It was you guys didn't see the movie. It's The Northman. That movie has two guys fighting each other to the death, a big revenge tale inside a volcano, kind of like Revenge of the Sith, except they're butt naked. That's how that movie ends.
I disagree.
Okay.
The best rematch is Rod versus Frank at the end.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
He beats the crap out of
Throws
him.
his head on the grill.
So anyway, we're watching. We stopped watching Star Wars and we started watching Dragon Ball Z.
Well, hold on.
No, before he put him in the ground,
Yeah.
did you see what he did to him?
No.
How he got him on the ground?
Pushed him.
He hit him
No,
with a
he
rock.
did the force.
He did a rock and
Force
took
quake.
his knee out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just like when Obi-Wan faced Savage in the Clone Wars. He kept hitting his knee, and then when he finally went down, that's when he had the upper hand.
That's right.
Always going for
It
the-
was. I love that scene.
Always
though.
go for
That
the
was cool.
knee.
He takes his knee out.
Yeah. The choreography was done very
was-
well.
yeah.
Especially compared to what Disney has done overall with lightsaber duels. Thank God that they had Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight.
Well, do you see
worthwhile.
how they're adding that element of Rey and Kylo, where it's the Kylo point and the
Right.
Force stopping the lightsaber,
Well, then
just like Kylo and Rey.
Oh my gosh.
So Vader puts Obi-Wan in the dirt, and then he just piles rocks on top of him.
Tries to bury him alive.
Yeah, and he
then
basically
he walks away.
See, that was
See,
dumb.
That
Well, here's the
was-
thing. I thought it was kind of interesting. The entire fight, he's keeps calling him Obi-Wan, and then only after I assume he thought he was dead, he finally called him Master.
Master.
Yeah. There's still that part of Anakin, which
Hope
leads to the
Palpatine
next
doesn't
part.
find out you said that.
Oh, Grand Inquisitor's gonna let him know.
Yeah,
Palpatine, am I right?
Papa. He so he buries Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan basically acquires power through the power of friendship.
No, here's
Yeah. It's kind of like, hey, what did I write down? I said, when emotion is lacking from a scene, just start playing random sound bites, I guess, right? Just kind of do the thing.
Yeah.
I think you guys are wrong.
No,
This was great because
I liked it.
this was his full circle moment.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is internally like struggling with this fact that he failed Anakin.
Right.
Right when he left him on Mustafar, he said, "You were my brother, Anakin. I'm sorry." He says, "I have failed you.
Right.
I have failed you." And he's crying and he leaves.
Right.
So he's living with that guilt that Anakin, who went and killed all these kids at the Jedi Temple, who destroyed the Jedi Order, is still out there because of him.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Oh, wow. Brother had some gas.
About that gasket about to blow.
He's been eating beans. Beans? No, but it's that moment where Obi-Wan is buried alive with Vader above him.
Right.
And he has these flashbacks of all those moments he failed Anakin. That's all the sound bites. And then it immediately cuts to Luke and Leia. Right before this fight with Vader, he promised Leia he would see her again. I promise I'll come see you.
Yep.
So he failed Anakin, and now he's got Anakin's offspring counting on him.
Yeah.
To protect Luke, to get Leia home, to go see Leia again. And it's that I failed you, Anakin, and it's that motivator of I'm not going to fail your offspring, your kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I like I said, I actually really like that scene. I was joking, but there's also this motif that keeps playing itself out throughout the series where Obi-Wan gets thrown back into the fight when he realizes the impact it has had on Luke and Leia. He sees the youngling in the hallway in episode 4 in the tomb hallway, and that's what like sparks him, and seeing the kids is what changes his perspective. So to put it simply, through the power of friendship, he goes God mode.
Piss mode.
He just
turns it up to 11.
I thought Obi-Wan in this episode was 10 out of 10. Like I said, Vader last episode, 10 out of 10. Obi-Wan in this episode was 10 out of 10. I loved what they did with his whole sequence. So he gets out of the pit. He gets all these rocks, and then he sneaks up on Vader.
He just blows these rocks off.
Yeah.
Like, just channels the Force and just...
See,
if you've ever played Battlefront 3 or 2, where Anakin's got the repulse...
Yeah.
You could charge up the repulse and then send a force wave out. That's what Obi-Wan does.
He does.
He repulses.
To all these rocks. So...
And then Vader stops. And then Obi-Wan... It's like, Vader, you didn't hear those rocks blow into the sky? And then
Yeah, I did not care for Vader just walking away. Like,
that was
you
bad.
couldn't have sensed that he was still alive.
To be fair, it was dark out.
It was very dark. This
you can't even see anything.
This episode was hard to watch. Why is everything happening at night?
Well, the best is that we've kind of neglected the fact that this isn't all happening in one take. This is like they keep cutting back between this and Reva at the farm,
Right.
which is also at night, and you can't see anything.
Right. No.
So that was bad.
And it's almost like, okay, here's another thing that they could have done to fix all this. Disney, you got to stop using those FX lightsabers.
Yeah.
Like the glow that they are producing
It's
is
kind of cool, but like just shoot in the daytime, it's
it's
fine.
too much.
Have you seen that meme of the guy?
Yeah.
It's like me watching Kenobi late at night. And it's just this guy like blinded by a blue light.
It is. It's too bright. And then, like I said, it actually just before Vader force pushes the ground and creates that giant cavity, he strikes the ground with his lightsaber and it bounces off the ground again. It's like if that was a true lightsaber, that would have cut into the earth.
Right.
And they got to stop using these FX lightsabers. Whatever they were doing for all the movies in episode 3, like just go back to that. Even if it's more work in post-production to add those effects in, it just looks and feels so much better.
Yeah. I agree.
So,
but yeah, so they start fighting again. And
And
the choreography only ratchets up from here.
Yeah.
Well, you told us that they were going to have 2 more fights in the show,
and
I was like, oh, so this is their second fight. You got us, didn't you, Disney?
no, they said
Deborah
2 more
Chow.
fights in the next season, I think.
I hope not.
They said Obi-Wan and Anakin will fight 2 more times. I don't know if they meant from that point on in season 1
Maybe it's just mental.
or if they mean in season 2 they're going to fight twice again.
They mentally fight through the Force across the galaxy. Because how are they? Well, we'll talk about that at the end.
Maybe they have a battle of words,
But
like a rap battle.
I love the fighting they get back to. Obi-Wan is just straight pushing Anakin.
He freaking sends him.
He is in tune at an all-time high. Like
he sends Vader.
he's at an all-time high in the Force right now.
And this is where you see, like, Vader is not, like, he can't move very nimbly. Like, he's not, like, agile. So he gets thrown by Obi-Wan into a rock, and he's like, "Huh!" And, like, he can't do anything. And then this is where Obi-Wan just goes God mode.
Yeah.
And he lifts up every rock in the known galaxy and throws it at Vader. And I think this was Disney saying, "Oh, well, we made Rey pretty powerful with the whole rock thing, so we better cover our bases and make Obi-Wan ultra powerful."
And that's the theme, Disney covering their bases.
right.
They got a little bit of a power creep problem though.
Yeah.
Where it's like you keep pushing the envelope, but you can never close it down. You know.
Right. I think though that is Obi-Wan's moment.
Yeah.
He's
Sure.
never gonna. That is
Sure.
his.
I mean, dude,
Vader's just taking it.
once you
All these rocks.
turn 60, it's all over.
Dang.
Done. You can't do anything else.
I guess not. So he's pelting.
He's got
Vader.
all these rocks.
He just-
starts smoking them, sending all these piss missiles, going piss mode.
Yeah. God tier stuff.
Man, I would love if you could come up with any other term than that.
He's been eating beans through the power of friendship.
So,
Go ahead.
my favorite part, they start fighting again,
Yep.
and Vader like goes to like grab him or something,
Yeah.
and Obi-Wan dodges it and grabs his hand.
Yeah.
and they're holding hands.
Yeah. Well, did you notice that a part of that fight was a direct, almost exact same choreography as the flashback scene they did the other episode where it was like the flashback on them fighting in Coruscant?
Yeah,
There was actually, I think, a back-to-back. It was like
Yeah.
literally
Right.
removed the exact same thing.
Yep.
yeah,
parallels.
I noticed that.
Those were good things that Disney did.
There you go.
New and exciting things.
While they're holding hands, though,
Yep.
Obi-Wan slices his chest plate. At this
Well,
point, you're like, oh
No, he butts it with the back of it, with the pommel of his hilt. Punches it like 5 times.
Yeah, I was like, can you just like use the other part
Right.
that's designed for
And just
cutting
end
things? Well, eventually he did, to be fair, but it was a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
silly of like, dink, dink, dink,
Yeah,
dink.
he just like he's elbowing him in the face and then boom, elbow, boom, boom, boom. I think he did it 5 times. And then Vader is struggling to breathe. You hear that classic.
and then, yep,
That was pretty good. I'm
That was
happy with
pretty
that.
good.
And then he cuts his
Cut it.
mask. He cuts his mask
Before
open.
that, what does he do?
He slices him in the back.
Nope.
Yeah,
What does
he
he
did.
do, guys? How did you miss
do you mean?
this?
He sliced him in the back.
For half a second, right before he goes to hit him in the face, he spots a rock
Oh my gosh.
that's about 1 foot higher than Vader.
There we go.
He jumps on the high ground and then jumps and slashes Vader's helmet open.
Vader should have seen it coming.
He should have went for the head.
He took
That was definitely an
ground.
Avengers moment.
It was
Like,
kind
yeah,
of
you
a
cut-
Morbius
I'm
move,
like, you-
honestly.
There it is. You cut the mask open. You should aim for the neck, but hey,
He cut the mask open and we see Anakin.
it was
Yeah.
great. It was kind of cool. That whole rest of that scene, wonderful.
did
absolutely
great.
insane. I loved it.
Then the dialogue begins, and this is where Obi-Wan is just crying,
Yeah, because
as was the audience.
Vader just became humanized because you can
Right.
see Anakin's face.
This is where Obi-Wan takes a step back and is like, Anakin. Which is exactly what Ahsoka says when she cuts Vader's face open.
that
Anakin.
parallel. Oh, I love it so much.
They did well.
Anakin.
Ahsoka cuts Vader's face open, his mask, and their dialogue between Anakin and Ahsoka. And the dialogue is like probably my favorite dialogue in all of Star Wars.
Chronologically, does that happen after this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Yes.
Basically, he says Ahsoka first.
Right.
And then she's like, oh my gosh, she heard it in Anakin's voice.
So that's where Ahsoka comes to the realization that this Darth Vader guy is Anakin, which is the moment that I hoped Obi-Wan would get. I hoped that was the moment where like he's just facing this menacing, thing, and then he finds out, oh my God, this is Anakin. We didn't get that because Reva spoiled all that, but we did get this amazing moment and this back and forth dialogue where he stops and he tears up and he says, "I'm sorry."
yeah, he says, Anakin, I'm sorry.
For
everything.
For everything.
Yeah, for everything.
And that's when Anakin hits him with the hard truth.
I am not your failure.
Obi-Wan.
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
you've got half of Vader's face is Vader, and the other half is Anakin, and they switch while he's talking. His Vader emulator is cutting in and out.
You hear Anakin's voice, and then you hear Darth Vader's voice.
Oh, it was such a great job on Deborah Chow's part.
Freaking well done,
actually, that
The
was
software that they used to AI fake James Earl Jones's voice was falling apart.
maybe that's why, and they're just like, all right, just throw it in that.
It's like it's not working anymore. We can't get the render to work, and they're like, okay, I'll just figure it out. Just mess with it.
So Obi-Wan says,
that was
I'm
great.
sorry, and he's crying.
Anakin looks at him, and Anakin's voice says, Anakin is gone. And then it's Vader's voice saying, I am what remains. And Obi is crying, saying, I'm sorry. And then this small detail, ooh.
Bring it home.
I could kiss Deborah Chow.
You should.
I could kiss her. Anakin is looking at Obi-Wan talking, and while he's talking, his eye is turning golden brown. You see the dark side like being channeled in Anakin. That detail is everything.
You're a golden brown eye kind of guy.
I just want to see golden brown when they're tapping into the dark side.
What about when he says...
It's more of like a fiery yellow.
Yeah.
Is it the order he says... Because this is actually the best Darth Vader dialogue in the whole show.
Easily.
He says... I am not your failure, Obi-Wan.
Right.
I didn't kill Anakin. Or you didn't kill Anakin, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, cut to that scene from Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Right.
It's not your fault. That's what I was getting the vibes of.
Yeah.
And that's when Obi-Wan
comes to grips.
With tears in his eyes, he says, then my friend is truly dead. Pause. Parallel alert. Ahsoka, when she faces Anakin, she comes to realization. She says, that my master is truly dead. Cut.
No.
Parallel. When Luke faces Darth Vader and he comes to the realization that his father is gone, he says, then my father is truly dead.
Once you
my
hit that
master
table,
is truly
yeah,
dead. My friend
just
is truly
keep hitting
dead.
the table.
My father is truly dead.
This is what I wrote down in my notes. This is the trifecta where you've got his apprentice couldn't get through to him. Cuts his helmet. You see Anakin.
Pause.
Apprentice, Ahsoka.
His apprentice cuts open his right eye. His master cuts open his left eye.
Yep.
His son is able to remove his entire
Third eye.
helmet at the end.
Right. Which is
Deborah Chow,
which is
you
symbolic
darling.
of Ahsoka could only get half of Anakin. Obi-Wan could only get half of Anakin.
Right.
It wasn't the half that they needed. It was Luke being able to take off his whole Vader persona and talking right to 100% Anakin.
Yeah.
It's film
magic.
Yeah, film magic.
Wizardry.
So you're saying they couldn't get
You're
through
watching Disney Channel.
So you're saying they couldn't get through to him.
Yeah.
Sounds
And
like the lightsaber could.
Oh my gosh.
Pause. So I was saying, like, what would have made this fight a couple notches better? High ground scene that I mentioned. Also, I wish Obi-Wan would have mentioned Padme's name. If he would have said something along the lines of, like, is this what Padme would have wanted? What if Padme saw you like this? Before this emotional dialogue, if he said something about Padme to take Vader from a 9 to a 10 to a 37 ticked, I feel like that would have pushed that whole fight to a new level that would have been a little bit better. What else was I going to say? I can't remember. Something.
I never got to finish what I was saying about Ahsoka.
Sorry, I got pumped about
Well, not all of us have seen that scene, Dave.
So the dialogue, I think the dialogue between Ahsoka and Anakin is the best dialogue in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because she calls out to Anakin and basically Anakin says Anakin's dead.
Right.
And Ahsoka just looks at him and says, then I will avenge his death.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like,
revenge is not the Jedi way.
I am no Jedi.
Oh, that is the best scene when she ignites her lightsabers.
Which can't even comprehend how that works. Think about it. If you've got two lightsabers, how does opening it like that make sense? Wouldn't it just blast your hand? Or I don't know.
No, it's just the angle she did it. It made it look cool. Filoni knows. We'll
Sounds
have to
really
ask
lame
him
to
when
me.
we have him on.
Well, anyway, this is where Obi-Wan gets his
Groove back.
not his groove, but that thing he's been struggling with just came full circle. Like, it's not his fault anymore.
Yeah.
Big true.
Just like in Moon Knight.
Just like in Moon Knight.
When Steven finally
Lets it go.
forgives himself for his brother's death.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan forgives himself for his brother's death.
Just like in Goodwill Hunting, where Goodwill forgives himself for the abuse
hunting.
he went. Yeah.
And then
For hunting.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
I know
so-
exactly what scene you're talking about. I've seen the scene, but that boy hunted.
You basically watched it in the Obi-Wan fight with Vader today. Well, I just want to say that it's really important that we, stop talking about Darth Vader and Obi-Wan.
Stop that.
And we cut to the next scene, which is more important.
Right.
Because Reva has a bone to pick with some random little kid that she knows almost nothing about. And she is hell-bent on getting there and finding him and, I guess, just chopping him up.
Yeah, you called that, Sean.
She invades the Lars's homestead.
And Beru
And
is
then
strapped.
This is where Beru is like,
Ride or die.
bring it.
Dog, I've been waiting.
Yeah, so they start fighting. Reva's deflecting everything and anything. And she gets a 1v1 with Owen. And Owen's got this staff. And he's like, what do you want? What's your deal? What do you even want?
It was the girder he used, Luke used to stop the walls from caving in, remember?
Yeah.
You're right.
That's what it was. And he's just like, yeah.
Bro, what do you
What are you
doing?
I don't even know you,
She just looks at him. Justice.
For what? For what?
Yeah.
What did my kid do this time?
They did a good job of giving Reva just enough information to get her on Tatooine, but then she has inferred that Luke is who?
Yeah.
Does she know that's Anakin's son?
Exactly.
There's no way.
The way she's talking, it sounds like she knows.
How would she know that?
Exactly. She's
Before I
like,
die, I'm going to kill the next person's name I hear. Oh, there it is. Owen, I got to find this guy. Could have killed, you could have killed the guy at the water stand. If you have to kill, if that's what you got to do.
okay, so that's where that would make sense. Is Anakin killed all her friends as kids?
Right.
She's gonna go and kill Anakin's kid.
Right.
Sure.
But you don't know that's Anakin. There's no way Reva knows that's Anakin's kid.
How did she connect those dots? Here's my favorite part of that whole sequence, though. Owen fights back a little bit. He sticks his thumb in her wound. And I'm going to make a meme. Talk dumb, get the thumb.
It's true.
Uncle Owen gave her the thumb. Right to the gut. And that's like the only way that, really, he's cornered and she has a lightsaber. So the fact that she's almost mortally wounded is really the only way that any of this makes sense.
Right.
Because otherwise she would have just diced him up.
Right.
But
Well, no, it's
we all
like,
know his fate.
well, the thing is, we're describing the two events separately, but they keep cutting. This is
Right.
And so it's like every time you go to Luke or Vader and Obi-Wan, it's like, oh no, please, I want to go back to watching Owen throw boxes at that lady.
Yeah, he throws a box at her just like haphazardly. That was weak. But she gets
Take
past
this one,
Owen,
and that one.
and Owen's like, Beru, she's coming. She opens the door, and Beru straight up decks her in the face. Beru, the MVP of this episode. That was sweet. And then she just like
She just tosses her to the side.
Yeah, she tosses Beru. Luke is scurrying out the ceiling to get away. He knows I just have to run. So he starts running.
Well, the funny thing about that was as soon as they were like doing their whole fight and they're like kind of getting prepped and ready, I'm like, okay, well, hey, Luke, remember that time you were 10 years old and there was that lady who really just wanted to kill you out of nowhere? You remember that? Did that ever come up again? So it's funny because then Owen and kind of Beru set him down like, oh, Tusken Raiders are on their way. I'm like, okay, Disney. Sure, that's an explanation. There you go. But then,
vilify the Raiders. We know that they're a peaceful people.
yeah, but then it's like break into. But then here's Reva with lightsaber ignited, breaking into the shed with Beru clocks her across the face, and or Luke just skimpers out of there. I'm like,
I hope you
okay.
like pain.
Yeah, like okay, well,
Should have turned
I'll be
around and
like,
said,
"Hey."
"You don't look like a Raider."
yeah, I'm like, okay, well, there goes the whole Tusken, subplot. Hey, Luke, remember that time a crazy lady with a glowing red lightsaber
Really
sword
glowing.
thing
It was glowing really bright. because
chased you
she's-
in the middle of the night? Do you remember that? Are you sure it wasn't a nightmare? You get amnesia? Like, I don't know. These are just the little things that's like, Disney. It would have been pretty easy to not kind of screw this up, retcon wise, but whatever.
Well, I will say at least they learned from their mistakes and they made a chase scene with a 10-year-old more believable because Reva is really wounded.
Yeah, he doesn't get very far.
He doesn't get very far, but also she can't run very fast. So it's
Right.
like, okay, thank you. Because that whole sequence with Leia in episode 1 was episode 1.
Yeah.
That was rough. So this was like, okay, this makes sense. Reva can't really run, but she does catch up to him. She uses the Force to pull him
Actually,
down.
yeah, that was another thing. I was like, hey, Luke, remember that time that lady was chasing you to try to kill you, and then she like just chucked a bunch of rocks at you with her mind?
Using the yeah.
You ever think about that sometimes, Luke, growing up?
She
Like,
yoinked
what
you
happened there?
down the rocks with the air,
Yeah, she just force
Mysticals.
pulls him down.
and then he just
knocks
passes
him
out.
out.
He passes out, and she is standing over him, ready to just dice this 10-year-old kid up.
Same.
When Sean called it, she has this realization of like, am I becoming the very thing that I was afraid of? There's this flashback of Anakin, and she's standing where Anakin was standing, and then she's looking at Luke, and Luke becomes her as a little girl, and she's realizing, oh my gosh, this is exactly like Order 66. Am I becoming the very thing that I swore to destroy? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So then she doesn't kill Luke. She carries him back. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan, he ditches Vader.
Yeah, he says, so he had his realization. Anakin's gone.
Right.
And he looks at him and says, goodbye, Darth. He just calls him Darth.
Yep.
So he doesn't call him Anakin
Which
anymore.
is exactly what he refers to him as in A New Hope.
Yep. And then he just walks away.
Well, at this point, Anakin's face
Sometimes you just got to walk away, Dave.
is cut open. His breathing apparatus is just pommeled to bits.
Yeah,
You like
but
that?
how you about to tell Master Qui-Gon that it ends today? Either I die or he does.
Hey,
But this
hey,
is going down.
hey. Sometimes that's not the way.
Once he saw Anakin,
Sometimes this is the way. Sometimes you got to leave them. You got to leave them knowing you showed them mercy.
well, that's
And
where
that is like burning coals on their
And
soul.
that, yeah.
that's
that
where
comes
Obi-Wan's
back.
dialogue with Reva kind of connects all the
Yeah,
dots.
but
Except for those stormtroopers, they didn't get to live.
Obi-Wan senses Luke's in trouble and just
He-
kicks it into hyperspace.
Well, that's where it didn't make a couple things. Vader's starship is in that system still. So Obi-Wan must have flew to the other side of the planet, then jetted, because otherwise they would have seen him. Also, why does his small little cruiser ship have hyperspace capabilities? And if that...
Also, the plot can happen.
right. Okay, fair enough.
Better question. Better question. They specifically show their ships, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, flying down to that planet.
Right.
And I'm like, but you could just flown. Why land on the night side? It could have just been daytime.
right.
And then like Owen is talking to Beru about, that this lady's going to come and attack him. And then Beru says, well, she's going to come at night. And I'm like, but why? Like, she doesn't need to.
So her lightsaber can really glow
Yeah, so it can
red.
glow in the dark, and it's just easier to shoot this stuff in a dark set.
I guess so.
I was a little bit sad.
We'll have to ask
Especially
Deborah Chow
because
when
when
we
you're
have her on.
fighting with the two fights are cutting back and forth, and they're both just at night, and you can't, like, they don't visually even
and
feel
can't
distinct.
see a dang thing.
It's like they're almost at the same stakes.
Speaking of
where
dark,
it's like
Dave's camera, I
Obi-Wan,
gotta
Anakin, all the context behind them. They're fighting. And then you got Reva trying to kill an unconscious 10-year-old.
Right.
Like, well,
Big yikes.
let's just stick with Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yeah.
So we get Reva carrying unconscious Luke back. And she sets him down in
What was
front
the
of...
parallel there?
I don't care.
It was when C-3PO was carrying the little dead Jawa bodies.
No.
But Anakin's carrying Shmi
I don't know
Right.
about
Back
that.
to the Lars
back
estate.
to the Lars.
Here's the difference.
I like my theory better.
Anakin carrying back a dead body when he chose hatred, and he chose murder. He had murder on the mind. Reva carrying back an alive Luke when she chose not murder and redemption. Parallel, but different. Different sides of the coin.
Right.
Riri gets her redemption that Sean knew she would.
I don't know about that. Here's what I'll say about that whole thing.
Uh-oh.
I kind of wished that Reva going to the homestead was done with totally different reasons. I wanted her to, because the beginning of the show, right?
Right.
They're on Tatooine. You introduce the Inquisitors showing up in this random village, and you immediately start drawing the lines, right? The factions. There's the civilians, and then there's the Inquisitors, right?
Right.
And the Inquisitors are after the Jedi. But within the Inquisitors is Reva, who's like not like the rest of them, and she's got a chip on her shoulder, and they don't trust her, and they're upset with her arrogance. And
She's spicy.
yeah, they don't like her. So I'm thinking the end of that show should be her having her confrontation finally
Right.
with the Inquisitors. It doesn't have to be the Grand Inquisitor, but you got the, what is he, the fifth brother?
brother.
And then the...
But we know
The
that he
eighth
gets killed
lady
by
and-
Maul.
So I kind of felt like you could have had a rematch where they're the ones trying to kill Luke or something, and she goes to defend him.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I like that.
That would have been a good redemption. Or they could have done what I wanted. The pace at which Obi-Wan and the haste at which he arrives on Tatooine,
Yeah, he needed like 30 seconds.
and then everything gets de-escalated very quickly. Like, where's Luke? Where's Luke?
I was
Is
gonna
he? I'll check the desert sea. And then it's like, oh wait, there he is. Reva's bringing him back. Reva's bringing him back. What's going on?
Right.
here?
No, Reva just walks up, and the three people that are tasked to protect Luke, his three protectors, are watching as this lady that's been swearing
Terrorizing.
she's going to kill all of them.
Yeah.
Brings this body back.
Right.
Drops it and goes, I couldn't do it. And they're all just standing there, and it's like, well, thank God.
Do what?
Like, nobody says a word.
I thought Obi-Wan was going to grab her with the Force and be like, you stay right there. Like, just pin her up into the sky.
Right.
See, Obi-Wan just came from being God mode, and then he just, like, everything is de-escalate. Okay, I think we're good here.
Oh, Reva, you brought him back.
You chose life.
Well, she
you.
then she starts having like a little breakdown and starts actually crying and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? This is this could be a really powerful.
No.
Well, I was gonna say this could be a powerful moment of true catharsis for her character if it wasn't immediately preceded by her just doing the most basic level of human decency and not cutting a little 10-year-old boy in half.
Right.
Right.
I couldn't do it. It's like, well, yeah, nobody should, you know.
You psychopath.
Are you like, gosh, lady? Well, it's like the idea of like, you feel like redemption, for somebody to earn redemption in a story, it should be congruent with the level of transgression. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of feels like Reva's getting a little spoiled here.
Yeah.
I would say so. They're giving her the Disney treatment.
Yeah, I would
They're
say
giving
so.
her the season 2 treatment.
Survives Order 66, survives Vader stabbing her.
Right. Disney
Just
likes Riri.
die.
I could survive that.
I wanted her to. I thought she was gonna die. I thought Obi-Wan was gonna show up and mess her up.
I feel like
But
she was supposed to.
I don't know though. I mean,
Or Beru just like puts her down.
oh geez, straight to
I
the
wonder
dome.
if she was supposed to.
Blast her to the dome.
They confirmed a season 2, and with all the hate Moses Ingram got, they gave her more of an important role.
Maybe they pulled an Uno reverse on what they did with Rose Tico.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They just take Rose out of the question.
Rose just like faded into
Poor
existence.
Rose.
Poor Rose. So then, yeah, Reva has the dialogue with Obi-Wan, and she says, like, did I fail them? Did I fail all of my youngling companions who were slaughtered by Anakin because I didn't slaughter his son? Which, again, how do you know that?
I don't know if she knows
Does
that.
she know that? I didn't kill this kid, so did I let my compadres down? And Obi-Wan says, no, you honored them by choosing life and choosing mercy.
Showing
which,
mercy, yeah.
Which kind of
And
reflects...
she throws her lightsaber into the sand where all lightsabers go to die.
I guess so. Just ask Rey Skywalker about that. So that like parallels why he walked away from Vader.
Sure.
He chose mercy in that
Yeah.
moment.
Then what does Obi-Wan say to her? Like, now you're free.
Who
We
you
both
become
are.
now is up to you.
Who you'll become in season 2 is up to Deborah Chow.
Right. Or the fans,
Oh, don't give it up to the fans.
based on how they react. So he says to her, now you're free. We both are. And I'm like, from what? Talking about?
Vader's still out there.
Yeah, how are you free? I don't understand.
Grand Inquisitor is there.
She's dying.
No, free from their.
Not okay.
He's dying.
Their inner demons.
Oh shoot, you're right.
Reva was struggling with.
Yeah,
They're free from their inner demons.
good for her getting rid of those inner demons. After all those people got killed by her.
So then the last few minutes wrap up.
We cut to Mustafar, Vader's castle.
Right.
He's FaceTiming with Palpatine.
He's doing a little he's doing a little post-mortem with Palpatine.
And Palpatine looked whack, dude.
After
He looked
a-
old
after-
AF. He looked bad.
After action report.
It was more of a original trilogy look. He looked
Just
rough.
keep the hood over his face.
Yeah, they
at that
should've.
point, that was whack.
They should have. He looked a little rough.
You know what I liked about that scene though? Is that Sidious called him friend. I was
Did
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh,
You look troubled, friend.
Sidious calls him friend. See,
didn't
that's
pick up
why
on that.
that's why Vader and Palpatine are bros.
Darkseid ain't so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what they
Literally, his only friend is Sidious, if you think about it.
and he's not really. I mean, he's pretty manipulative. It's a toxic relationship. You got to get out, Vader. Go back to Ober's. He treats you with mercy.
I almost like that scene too was like, if you really think about the logic of the scene, like, okay, it's cool to get Palpatine back for just like one little tiny scene. But also, if you think about it, it's like, here's Palpatine desperately trying to iron out Darth Vader's motivations before the movie,
Sure.
A New Hope. It's like, hey, let it go, man, let it go. No, seriously, just like, hey, let it go. don't carry this with you anymore because you don't got it won't make sense.
Right.
What Disney, I'm surprised they didn't do, just to tease the Ahsoka series coming out, is they should have had Thrawn
Ooh,
somehow in the background of that FaceTime of him. Maybe just like when they first pop up with the FaceTime notification, bloop, maybe Thrawn turns and walks away, like him and Palpatine had just had a conversation. But maybe they haven't cast or shot anything with Thrawn yet.
I don't think Thrawn's even a part of the Empire at this point.
I don't think Thrawn's actually happening.
Thrawn's
bro.
gone.
I think Ahsoka series get
You would
canceled.
know. You read the book. I mean, this is before.
No, that's before all
just
that.
before Rebels.
Wait, there was a Thrawn.
Oh,
is this
yes,
a Legends
right.
book? Or not?
I don't know.
No. It's
Is it canon?
It's how Thrawn earns his way into the ranks of the Empire.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually pretty good.
He probably does a bunch of noble and like virtuous things to do it, huh?
No. He manipulates his way in.
Yeah, that's weird.
Just like
You
Palp
wouldn't,
Daddy.
you wouldn't expect that.
So
So right after this scene, immediately we have it's actually Alderaan,
Leia
Leia, back in action.
suiting up. She's got
In
the
her
leather
princess
boots.
garment.
She's got the holster.
She's got the bunded up
Buns.
hair. A la Empire. No, not Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi.
I was gonna say like Padme, but I don't actually pay attention to girls' hair that much in those movies, to be honest.
She's got the same hair as Endor, Padme, Leia.
Endor what? So her and her mom have a little bit of a little catch
Is
up.
that a holster?
Oh my gosh, is that a holster?
You saucy dog.
Yeah. I
say
love. She's like, I love it or something. And then she
Obi-Wan shows up.
Yeah, she kind of goes out to the landing pad and meets a mystery guest, and she's like, "Is it another cousin or whatever?" And it's Obi-Wan. But more important than that, Dave, Lola is back.
Lola.
Lola.
That's kind of the reason that whole scene exists.
Remember when you told David not to get in a relationship with droids?
It's true. And remember how Obi-Wan was like, I don't seem to recall ever owning a droid. Because he gets rid of him as soon as he can, every chance. He doesn't want to hold on to him.
I wasn't here for episode 8, but you guys did a great job, and I was dying laughing at your assumption that basically all the droids from episode 1 that get blasted on the Naboo fighter all had families and a backstory and names.
Yeah, if you think about it, that's probably the Jedi way, is to just like really like do not love people, don't love droids. It's not worth it. It's gonna just lead you down some dark paths. What if you could prove that it's actually the main character's love for droids that leads to the dark side?
Anakin?
Thoughts?
Probably.
No.
It's probably
Kylo Ren?
accurate. Kylo Ren? Yikes.
So another little minor filmmaking thing that was kind of funny about this scene is there's a moment where Bail Organa is delivering one of his lines, and so the camera very intentionally like dollies into him. Mm-hmm. Like the camera's literally got to move towards him, and then it cuts to the reverse shot of Obi-Wan like responding, except that shot doesn't have a dolly, so they like just digitally zoom in on him. which I thought was kind of funny.
Literally nobody knows that but you.
Well, it's just like those little things of like, okay, you're in the editing suite, and it's like, oh crap, we didn't. All right, I'll just zoom in on that shot. It's like, are you sure you need to do that? It's like that. You know, some people might catch that and think it looks a little bit cheap.
Yeah.
Look, we've blown $25 million on this episode already.
We're on a time crunch now.
All right.
So then, like I predicted, Obi-Wan and Leia have this big emotional farewell, and he goes into, he's like, listen, last we talked, I said I didn't know your parents, but here's the truth. He says you're, I don't know, bunch of
Comparison.
stuff.
Yeah, he says she kind of gives he gives her qualities that remind him of his mom and her mom, and then qualities she has that remind him of her dad. I thought that was really sweet.
That was
that's
sweet.
cool.
I only was a little disappointed because in hindsight, I'm like, well, you know, this whole scene is just shot on. You know, that I think we talked about it in that last episode. Like the volume is called the giant LED stage they create. It's starting to get a little bit apparent because you see so many scenes where it's like it's just two characters talking to each other in just a big open empty area.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, you know, they could be doing anything. They could be sitting at a table. They could be, I don't know, in a garden, like anything in the set, but they're just on a flat ground with like clearly just backdrop behind them. So, but still, I mean, that on its own, that dialogue was really nice.
Yeah.
I like that Leia said to him, I think you need to sleep.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I was like, dude, well, I was like, same, girl, same.
I think
I'm with
rest would have been a better word.
No,
Go to bed.
no, trust me.
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
I think you
I'm
need
running this.
I think you need sleep.
I am a princess of Alderaan.
You never seen that?
No.
The little kid?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I thought all this dialogue was going to take place on Tatooine. That was a massive overreach by my part because I said that Bail Organa was going to Tatooine.
Yeah,
but it was better.
Didn't.
Yeah, but
Hang on.
you know what
think
though?
about that.
He didn't.
I think
I never thought about that until just now.
Bail
Roken,
Organa.
I thought through this. Roken and his ship probably got comms out to Bail Organa to say we're bringing her to Alderaan, stay in Alderaan, or Haja Estri.
Yeah.
Bill's
maybe.
a liar. He's a liar. He always has been a liar.
Reva got there a lot quicker than he was going to get there. Riri got there.
How? Why? She doesn't have to.
She's fast.
She's fast.
She's got tricks. Tricky girl.
So there's a great line where. Well, do you guys think that like Obi-Wan and Leia will get to see each other again in season 2? Yes or no?
Yeah, and then he's gonna mind wipe her, and she's gonna forget everything.
Well, because there was one line she said that I couldn't get over. She's like, "Will I ever see you again?" Which is again a parallel to Anakin says that to Shmi, his mom, right before he leaves. And then I was thinking Obi-Wan should have said, "Yes, briefly. You watch me get cut in half a couple dozen yards away. That's it."
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be. You should make the meme before anybody else does.
Oh my gosh!
Talk dumb, get the thumb.
Talk done, get the thumb. I'm a princess of Alderaan.
I thought that
I hope
too.
you like
It's
pain.
not really, but I will be there in the background. Luke will be the only one who really sees me die. You'll run by.
Yeah, you'll just keep running and tell him it's too late. You'll kind of forget all about me. All right, well,
Okay, sounds good.
I can't believe he's gone. I have nothing to say about him.
There is no emotional attachment in this moment.
And then, of course, it's like, hey, cut short the grieving, guys. We got TIE fighters on our butts.
Right.
Action scene, go.
Now we're just getting into A New Hope.
Well, that's what they want, isn't it? They want you to think about the next movie.
I guess so.
They don't want you to think about season 2.
Or the next scene,
Oh my
which
god.
is Obi-Wan going to Tatooine.
Obi-Wan cleaning out his
Yeah.
cave.
And yeah, he's cleaning up his home,
Moving on up.
He grabs the toy.
grabs the ship toy that we see
For
Luke
Luke.
playing with, episode 4.
That Owen was like, we don't want this ish. Get out of our lives, Ben. I love that line that Beru has.
Wait, no. He says that earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Now Owen sees Obi-Wan a little differently. Their relationship has mended a little bit.
Much like I predicted in our last episode.
Yeah, because
And-
he literally showed up when Luke they thought was dead. He didn't help,
Right, he didn't do
but
it.
he just was there.
I was going to say, though, I love that line from Aunt Beru when they're like getting ready to fight. And he's like, well, what are we going to do? And she's like, it's just us. Ben's gone. Thanks to you. I forget exactly what she says.
Well, what did she say? Like, she said, was it him or her who said something like, "We are all we need" or something.
She
like that.
said that.
She says that, yeah.
It's like, dang,
Is that a
find
gun?
you
I'll take her right now.
find you a girl who says something like that too, right?
Oh man. So yeah,
So
he comes back
he comes back
to the Lars estate.
Joel Edgerton is so good as Owen Lars, dude.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
He was 10 out of 10 in this series. Hats off to him.
like, shout out to George Lucas for casting that guy like 20 years ago.
He knew. He knew he would shine through years later.
Literally 20 years ago, because it was 2002. Attack of the Clones came out. Wow,
Yeah.
dang, we're boomers.
20 years.
All right, well,
You look antsy, David. What?
so he meets Owen.
He shows back up.
At the farm, ostensibly to give Luke the toy.
Essentially.
Well, no, he basically tells him, I'm not going to watch over him as hard anymore.
doing here?
I'm going to let him be a boy.
He says, I thought you were going to keep your distance. And I will. And I will.
I'm going to let him be a boy. And then he goes, hey, bud, you want to meet him? And at this point, I thought he was going to say, like, no, because in episode 4, Luke knows of Ben, but doesn't know him.
Well, yeah. Now he knows of him.
Well,
No, he literally meets him now.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
he like knows of him. He's not like buddy with him, but he's like, yeah, I met that guy
here's
one time.
here's
I think.
how I think you could actually justify that. And I don't like to get in the habit of trying to like justify retcons, but you could insinuate like a 10-year-old boy briefly meeting this weird hermit who's like a neighbor. That wouldn't stick out too much to you.
Right.
And then technically,
That's
if
true.
you watch A New Hope, when he sees Ben Kenobi for the first time in that movie, it's when he gets knocked out by the Tusken Raiders, and then he gets woken up by Ben, and he does know who he is. He recognizes him, so it's like, Ben Kenobi?
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, in theory, it's not completely illogical that Ben Kenobi was just like some random, almost like a neighbor, but you just don't see that often.
And how many neighbors do they have out there?
They just got the Jawas and the Sand People and that R2 unit with a bad motivator just lying there dead.
Furry creatures, those Jawas.
Disgusting. What is that? I can't abide those Jawas.
So he meets Luke. And what does he say, David?
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
He said the thing.
He said the thing.
We need
Loved it.
we need a sound drop that's just like the sound of people cheering and going, he said the thing.
Side note, I think he looked younger in all of these shots.
I told you, yeah.
I think it's probably just the fact that it was daytime and the lighting was good compared to everything else in this episode.
You're talking about Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah, he looked fresh
He
and
just
young.
doesn't have gray hair. It's less gray than it was in Revenge of the
I
Sith.
think you're right. And he was actually smiling a bunch. I mean, it's like you can tell a weight is off his chest.
He doesn't have any receding hairline. I mean, it's just like, come on.
He looked spry.
Come on.
And then he really looks young when he's on his way back. He's about to head through Beggar's Canyon.
Which first, he's wearing an like those goggles around his neck and that
Right.
white, what would you call it?
Garb.
Sure.
Jedi stuff.
That is actually in the comics. He's wearing that exact same. There's a comic series about Obi-Wan,
Interesting.
and he's wearing that exact same
They were
outfit.
kind of the same goggles too, as almost as Rey. But Rey's were more of like, I think they were taken off of a stormtrooper's helmet
His were more like going snowboarding.
on the Dune Sea.
All right, so he's leaving, and then what happens, Dave?
Freaking Qui-Gon shows up. Force Ghost.
Qui-Gonials in the building.
No, Qui-Gon turns. And it's just like, it's about dang time, dude. Where have you been all episode?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I was always there. You just weren't ready to see me. And I'm like, Disney, it sounds like you weren't ready.
Right.
Come on. Don't gaslight us.
Right.
Which you called it, David, because Liam Neeson did an interview where he said he wasn't in it.
Which now Liam Neeson is in Tales of the Jedi animated show. He voices Qui-Gon.
That's a W.
And in our episode 2, 99 Nerds episode 2, in what we hope to see, I literally bet my life that Qui-Gon would show up.
You did.
So I'm really glad he showed
I'm glad
up.
I don't have to kill you. Yeah, it was brief. I wish there was more of it, but there wasn't. And
That's next episode.
He just turns and says, "We've got much to learn," or what, I forget the exact
Got a
phrase.
long way to go.
Yeah.
Got a long way to go.
I'm like, yo, same.
And I tell you what, I mean, seeing Liam Neeson next to Obi-Wan is like the old guy throughout this whole thing. But something about putting Liam Neeson's Force Ghost next to him, it just takes me back to Padawan Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
like he's just
do
the
you
young Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I think Ewan McGregor is older now than Liam Neeson was. Let's
Yeah,
look it up.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
Phantom Menace was what? 1999?
Yeah.
Yeah.
99er
47 years old. Dang. It's true.
Lily.
Ooh.
Liam Neeson was 47 years old. And then Ewan McGregor,
He's probably like 54.
he is 51.
Wow, good call.
Dang. Just like how Mark Hamill was older than Alec Guinness in Last Jedi.
That's right.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. That's cool. It all comes back around.
Everything's a parallel.
Goes around, comes around.
Everything's
Yeah.
a callback.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty cool. And
I
then,
think they closed it all out well. Like I said, I really liked it. I didn't love it. They could have made the Vader Obi-Wan 10 times more epic just by adding a couple of elements. Total side note, because we recorded the episode 5 reaction so fast that there were some things I thought through. One thing that they could have done to make the Reva Vader encounter even better is, imagine with me, Reva sneaks up behind him, and what does she do? She ignites her saber to cut him down. That's dumb. That's like going for style points, which when you're trying to kill Vader, you don't go for style points. What you do is you shoot him with your lightsaber like a gun.
Like Ezra, which we have not mentioned. Ezra's lightsaber might be the goated lightsaber.
It has a pistol on it,
His lightsaber is a blaster. He can
Yeah.
shoot and turn on a lightsaber.
which you see its full effect when Kanan faces off against the Grand Inquisitor. He freaking is shooting him left and right while hitting him with his lightsaber. Side note, though.
Anyway.
So you don't
I'm pretty sure
slash.
the best lightsaber idea is just to hold the thing up to their head and then turn it on real
That's
quick.
what I'm saying. You shoot him with it. You put it to his back and you
Kylo.
turn it on.
Kylo.
You Kylo him. Bazoink, right into the Sith trooper's face. But so she
Yeah,
should
but
have.
then all you think about it, maybe all you're doing is stabbing him in the machine bits.
No, because this is what Vader does. She turns on her saber and Vader stops it from igniting.
Oh, yeah.
That would have taken that Vader scene just another notch of like,
that is a cool idea.
oh my gosh. And then he's
And
stopping.
pushes it back through
No. He's
to ignite the other side,
Oh
which
my
kills her.
So she tries to gun him with it. He stops it from igniting, but you see it like it's almost starting to ignite. And then it's almost like the crystal is destabilizing because it can't ignite. Kind of like what happens to, what's his name? From Doctor Strange. When Wanda takes his mouth.
Oh, yeah. Black Bolt.
Black Bolt. He can't get the words out, so he just dies. It's almost like the lightsaber can't ignite, so the crystal is destabilizing. And that's when he moves out of the way and lets it ignite.
Or it's like that girl I was telling you about in the Young Jedi Knight series whose lightsaber was poorly constructed.
Yeah.
And it kind of turned off in her hand and she lost her arm.
She got her arm cut off. Yeah. So I feel like that. I thought about this like a couple days ago. I was like, shoot, what if they would have done that? That would have made like that sequence between Vader pulling the ship down and then their fight. That was my favorite sequence in terms of like OP Vader footage. But it could have even been better. Yeah. See, this is where they need us in the writer's room.
They need us. They need us.
They need us.
I don't care what they use us for.
They just need us.
I can be a good boy.
Reva would be giving her voice lines, and I'm just like,
see, that's the thing. It's like, no, we'll be
everyone stop. This is all wrong.
We'll be the ones who are encouraging and positive on set.
We'll be carrying ladders around in the background.
Yeah, we're gonna move. We'll move the ladder.
You, Steve, what are you doing?
I was just moving.
I was just trying something.
So yeah, that was my fan theory. They should have done that. And they should have done what I said to improve the Vader Obi-Wan.
So as a series, what would we rate this out of 10?
I mean, if you average all my episodes up, it's probably like a 8.0, 7.9.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I loved it way more than Boba.
You did.
Boba sucked.
I wasn't happy with Boba.
Are you talking about the show or the drink? Because
Tea?
yes,
Wait, what is a boba drink?
exactly.
You're so uncultured.
I guess.
I think it's just like
It's fine.
it's tea made out of like fish eggs or something, right?
I think no, they're like tapioca balls.
Same
Same.
thing. So what would you rate it, Dave?
Probably give it an 8 out of 10 total.
Okay, that's cool. And then you said 8 out of 10.
7.9.
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
I knew you would.
Sorry.
You slut.
3 out of 5.
Can't say
3 out of 5. Okay, that's all right.
3 out of 5.
Yes.
Now look,
3 out of the 5 episodes were
you
good.
might remember what I gave the Rise of Skywalker.
I don't.
I don't even remember. I think it was a solid 2 out of 5, maybe.
I will say this. One thing about Sean is this.
Hey,
dude,
I liked it better than Jurassic World Dominion.
Dang. This dude freaking nails it right from the get. Like, walking out of the theater, he will tell you if a movie was good or not. I walked out of Rise of Skywalker thinking, like, there was some sweet parts in that movie. And then, like, 3 days later, you're like, that might be the worst movie ever made. Yeah. Whereas Sean knew right from the get, he was like, guys, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And we're like, what are you talking about?
Actually, it was Dave who made me feel really bad because Dave walked out of the movie and he was so happy. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
You bring me back to center, Sean.
Yeah, but do I want to be the negative voice in the world?
No, but that's the thing.
Not today, Zerg.
You're not just the negative voice. Like, you actually are nailing your.
Well, it comes back to what I said that other time. We don't have to hate bad media. You don't got to hate it.
Right.
But it's good to like just talk about it, learn from it. Maybe there's something that, for example, I love re-watching movies and trying to recontextualize what would make it work really good.
Yeah.
Heck, I was watching a short film that a class of students I went to school with in video school produced. And when you watch this short film, it is the worst thing you have ever seen with your eyes, okay? And yet I'm wasting my Tuesday night. Nobody asked me to do this, and I'm watching it for 40 minutes, and I'm actually sitting there thinking, if I were to remake this, how could you make this actually good? This awful, trivial script.
I'm going to tag all of your classmates. I'm going to find them.
It's
All
bad.
12 of them?
There's like 20 of them.
Private school.
No. This was my video school I went to.
Okay.
So anyway.
Where we all should be knowing. We all should know what we're doing.
Right.
No.
It's a school of video. Well,
No, I think that's a good
that's the lens that I looked through this
That's a
episode
good-
at.
mindset to have.
I
Don't just
liked
hate
it, but it's like, ooh, what if they did that? Oh my God, what if they did that?
It reminds me of the end of Pineapple Express, where they're sitting around the diner and they're just like all having a good time talking about like, remember I used to hate you?
Right.
Yeah, you hated me. Oh, but it's like, but now I like you.
Or the end of Avengers where they're all sitting around
Eating shawarma.
eating shawarma.
Yeah.
And Chris Evans is hiding his
Hey.
face because he had a mustache for the next film he was in because they had to reshoot it.
I have a question.
I thought he was hiding his face because he was laughing.
Maybe.
The Kenobi episode was 54 minutes long.
yeah.
Yeah,
It ended at minute 50. Did any of us check for an after credit?
There was no after credit.
You sure?
I skimmed through,
Okay.
but
Alright.
double check because I might be wrong. I briefly skimmed through
I never watched the credits.
because I had to get to work.
Even when we're sitting in the theater, I know there's an after credit scene. I close my eyes.
You still wait though?
No, usually because I'm really tired after the end of the movie. I just want to like rest my eyes for a minute.
Multiverse of Madness, I think, is on Disney Plus now,
It is.
so I can watch it.
Dang, there you go.
What news did I just see?
You can see Ron again.
Cal Kestis,
yes.
the actor. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Is he okay?
John Stamos.
No, it's like something
Dominic.
shoot.
I almost said Don Monahan,
You
but
sent it to
that's
me
the guy
on
who
the
plays
IGs.
Mary
I'll
in
look at it.
Lord of the Rings. It's something Monahan.
Monahan, yeah.
He's a redhead.
Yep.
No offense to redheads, but this guy in particular, I don't know if I like him. He's just got a weird look. I'm sorry, bro. It's not your fault. You're not ugly. You're just-
Christian
oh man, that's his name.
Harloff has reported
Yeah.
that a source he trusts has told him that Cameron Monaghan has
Monahan?
signed on to play Cal Kestis in a live action show on Disney Plus.
See, now
Will he be in season 2 of Obi-Wan?
Is he also going to keep his mouth slack jawed?
What is
With
season
live
2 of
action?
Obi-Wan? How about that?
I can tell you exactly what it is, Austin.
What did they cut out
I can tell you
to
exactly
make
what it's going to
season
be.
2?
It's going to be.
Trust you.
It's going to be Reva putting her life back together before she heroically, truly sacrifices herself for something more important.
That's
Ned-
where she fights the
It's
Inquisitor.
gonna
A new
be
Ned C.
It's
loader
gonna
droid.
be Leia developing herself more as a leader and less of a just helpless child. It's gonna be Luke growing ever more frustrated and disillusioned with his docile life on the farm, even though he just had this radical thing happen over the weekend where somebody just straight up tried to murk him. But we're just going to move on from that. And I don't know, what's Obi-Wan going to be doing?
Learning how to become
Building
one with
his
the
house.
Force.
Obi-Wan's going to be, it's going to be like this really weird show about him getting a mortgage and like negotiating with the bank. Like, it's going to be
The banking class
Yeah, exactly.
your treaty.
It's gonna be that. You know, the good stuff. All right, so now that the show's over, I really want to say something that I think must have changed in this movie.
What was it?
It was the fact that
Show.
it was the Boba Fett thing. So in Boba Fett, I thought it would be super cool. Again, I liked Boba Fett in a way you guys clearly didn't. But what I liked about Boba Fett is like, okay, let's take this character who's been beat the heck up and let's do something just like, let's kind of get into his head. Let's get into his heart. We don't have to do action scene after action scene. Let's just spend some time with the character, figuring out who he is, what he wants. So the whole show is him on Tatooine. And it's a lot of him talking. And it's a lot of him just walking around, just going day to day. And what's weird is that in a lot of ways, that's exactly what I wanted. But when you think about it, people hated that.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, I'm wondering if Obi-Wan could have or should have or would have been a show with him just on Tatooine for a long time and kind of like a couple adventures he was having there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Boba Fett got the reaction it did. And so all that got changed. And now it's like we got to get him off planet. He's got to face Darth Vader multiple times. He's got to have an antagonist chasing the galaxy after him. He's got to have a kid he's protecting.
Right.
Leia!
Well, I mean, they did do a good job of mirroring. It was 6 episodes long, and there was a lot of parallels between episode 1 and Phantom Menace.
Do you think
Episode
there's
2,
a reason why it was
Clone
6 episodes and not 9?
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I'm sorry. I keep saying that because Clone Wars is better than Attack of the Clones.
I was just going to say that.
Spoiler alert.
I can think of a version of Attack of the Clones in my head that's really good. I'm sorry it's not on a screen for you, though.
Dang.
Fun fact, I started playing Fallen Order.
How
That
is
game's legit.
You've never played it before?
Never played it. I actually really like it.
I said in previous episodes I have watched all the cutscenes, but I have not played it. I should play it.
It's fun. That's all I got to say.
That is fun. It's fun.
I wanted to like it. I didn't like it because I felt the story was just so predictable. But again, I'm a cynical monster.
Right.
Dead inside. So
I've heard that about you.
thanks.
His master was a baller.
Yeah.
With a gigantic dual wielding saber.
He, honestly, the best part of the game is you can customize your lightsaber.
For sure. His hilt is pretty sweet.
Mine looks like Obi-Wan's right now.
Oh, you know what that reminds me? You were talking about Disney. They're for sure going to bring Obi-Wan's saber. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were doing this poll where you could vote on the next saber in Galaxy Edge that you could then purchase. One of them was Kanan's. Kanan's is great.
I don't even know what it looks like.
Oh, God. It's the one that breaks into 2 pieces.
Oh, that's right.
Because when him and Ezra first meet, he first ignites the saber and he pulls it out in 2 pieces and connects it and then ignites it. Kanan's is sweet. I think the Librarians was on there. And then there was a couple other ones. Barriss Offees was on there.
Which
I think
fun
Qui-Gon's
fact,
was on there too.
Quick side note, that scene
This better be fun.
where Anakin finds out Barriss is the
Yeah.
bad guy. That's all I'm gonna say. He is fighting her in the Jedi Jedi. What would you call it? Building temple
Yeah.
Bathroom.
on Coruscant. As he's fighting her, he force pushes her off the building, and she lands right next to a group of younglings. All of the younglings we know, Petro, Gunji, all of them,
Yes.
and they're all learning saber techniques from Sanube.
Sanoob.
So you were right. He is the lightsaber teacher.
Oh
I just
my
thought that was a cool little
gosh.
background I saw.
Dude, shout out to me for getting that right when I just guessed it out of thin air.
R.I.P. Sanoobs.
R.I.P. Sanube.
My dude.
All right, should we wrap up, Austin?
We should for sure wrap up.
Let's
we went long.
ask some questions
Um,
that nobody answers.
what's gonna happen with? Come on, audience. The algorithm. It demands comments.
Comment.
Demands
something.
a sacrifice.
Where do you think they're going with season 2?
Did you like season 1?
What was your favorite episode?
Why did you hate Reva?
What would you do to make Reva work?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's better. Probably just die when Vader stabbed her.
Well, I think you could have her die, but it's got to be kind of like a heroic sacrifice thing. That's why I like.
I bet she fights the Inquisitors in that
Yeah,
season.
that's why I like.
I bet
that's why I
happens.
kind of wanted her to have her like big remake because, like, look, they're the ones she hates.
The thing is, in Rebels, we know what happens to Fifth Brother, and Maul cuts him down.
Why that?
Maul
that
does?
I just watched the episode.
That seems
It's-
so weird. Why did they bother having those specific Grand Inquisitors in the show when you know they can't die?
It's the episode. Spoiler alert for Rebels. It's the episode where Kanan gets blinded by Maul.
Yeah.
It's the episode where Ahsoka faces off on Vader. This episode, Sean, I'm telling you,
Goated.
it's like the best episode in all of Rebels. Second is later. I'm not going to talk about it because it's Kanan's episode.
I don't know. I saw some episodes where it was like cleply a children's show with a bunch of
So
archetypes,
That's one of my top moments.
It's
Kanan's
basically
death.
they're in this Sith temple and 3 Inquisitors show up, and it's Kanan and Ahsoka versus these 3, but then Maul shows up, and he joins with them to fight the Inquisitors, and then Maul just friggin' takes over. He ends up killing all of them.
and then cuts Kanan's eyes off.
He blinds Kanan because he wants Ezra to be his apprentice. And then him and Ahsoka face off, and then Ahsoka breaks off from him to go face Vader, and then Kanan, blinded, faces Maul. Oh my gosh. It's like the best episode.
It is. It's so good.
It doesn't get better than that. The action is just nonstop.
I didn't know Maul kills those Inquisitors.
He does.
You sure?
I forgot, but I just watched the
I'm pretty
scene.
sure they fly away.
Nope. He cuts down 2 of them, and then the one, he busts his lightsaber, and he tries to fly away, and then his lightsaber, like, explodes.
Oh, and then he falls to his
He falls
death.
like 1,000 feet to his death.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like a girl who's like super excited about her dog. And she's like telling you all the fun little tricks her dog knows how to do. And like is like anthropomorphizing the dog. Like, oh, he loves these treats and he loves watching TV. And it's like, we're talking about a dog.
No, here's what it is, Sean. My wife actually quantified it as, or verbalized it as,
Okay.
it's little boy energy.
Oh my gosh.
We have little boy energy about Star Wars because, like, I have a 2-year-old, and when we're driving down the highway, if he sees an excavator, freaking excavator.
I have that with dinosaurs.
He literally the other day went, excavator, and it's like,
And then us in episode 3 were like, escape Vader.
exactly. We have little boy energy about Vader.
All right.
And I'll never
one
lose
day
it.
one day I'll get my little boy back.
You will.
I just thought of this. Season 2, theory.
Go.
Bring it. Were you asking me or you?
The clone, obsessed with finishing the mission.
Yes.
Commander Cody.
I was gonna mention we didn't get Cody in this.
Cody's
Is
going to
he-
be in Bad Batch Season
Is
2.
he alive?
Oh, then he's for sure gonna be in Obi Wan.
Is he the one that at the end of Clone Wars kind of escaped with Ahsoka?
No, that's Rex.
No, that's Rex.
Rex is the good one.
Cody is the one on Utapau that shoots down his lizard.
Then what
He gives him his lightsaber
what,
and then he
what
immediately
happened? Well, what happened to Cody? What is he up to?
He's going to be in Bad Batch Season 2.
Was he a good guy or what?
No, he's a bad guy.
No, he activated Order 66.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna see what happens to him in Bad Batch, but I'm assuming, yeah, maybe we get some of him and maybe him and Reva face off.
Do you guys think I'll
Maybe
be
they
able?
kiss.
Nice.
Do you think that
He's like 100 now.
will be able to? Dude, maybe Roken and Reva should get together. They'd be cute.
Just getting started, Sean.
Yeah, I feel like he could be the leader and the kind of like the one that brings her down to earth.
Ro and Riri.
Yeah.
All that.
Well, do you guys think before season 2 comes out, I'll be able to actually finish all the Clone Wars and Rebels?
We'll force you to.
How much will you pay me to do it?
16 denarii.
I think that's a lot.
Dang it. I don't know what the conversion rate is. So these were good questions. This was all fun. This went so long. We were like, let's like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, in and out. There were so many. Here's the problem. They make so many layers
Coming up on 2 hours.
and so many intertwining motifs and themes and callbacks, and we have to talk about all of them. I'll never stop. Little boy energy.
Yeah.
All
Star
right.
Wars.
I got to poop. We got to conclude.
All right, that should wrap it up. Comment, like, subscribe. Please subscribe. We've got 7 subscribers. No, we don't. We've got more than that, but we need more. We need you to tell your best friend and their best friend's aunt about 99 Nerds. Comment, like, subscribe. Answer the questions we threw out there. That'll wrap it up. I'm Austin.
I'm David.
Hi.
And he is
I
Sean.
am a princess of
And we are 99
Alderaan.
Nerds.